Now, so many people struggle to do underlayers with pastels, especially on complicated looking subjects like this. So I'm going to cover all that for you in this lesson, and by the end you're going to know exactly how to do a PanPastel underlayer. For this lesson I'm using pastel matte paper brown, but light blue. That's my favourite paper that works for 99% of subjects. That would be perfect for this as well. First thing to do, I've transferred my image over, so you can do that with transfer paper. You can do it freehand, you can do it a grid method, up to you. I've got lots of lessons showing all that. And then to simplify it even further, I almost always like to take a pastel pencil, a black one and a white one, and then indicate where the darkest darks are, the dark shadow areas as well, and the lightest lights. And that helps me to create a kind of a map as an underlayer. Okay, it's very easy sometimes if you've got difficult subjects, perhaps a tiger with lots of stripes, to end up putting the dark in the white place and the white in the dark place. So this that you're seeing on screen, just very, very light pressure, all it does is help me to imagine and to see where the lights and the darks are going to live. And because my paper is mid-tone, you can see that the darks and the whites and then the paper color already makes a nice three-dimensional looking image, and that's why I select a mid-tone paper. Now I'm starting with the underlayer. Now for this lesson I'm using a PanPastel. Okay, you see that brown, or the brown PanPastels there. Now you could do it just as well using only pencils, then you'd use them on this side, or you could use pastel sticks instead. I like to use the harder sticks like Rembrandt so they don't fill the tooth of the paper up easily. But if you're using PanPastels, they work really well, especially on large drawings. That's when you really see me using them on underlayers. And then on smaller drawings, say A4 in size, I generally just use pencils for the whole thing. Now, what are you seeing? On the right hand side, you see that paper, that white paper, and I'm mixing my PanPastels on it. That is just printer paper, just the cheapest possible printer paper you can buy. I want it cheap because I don't need it to do anything than just mix the PanPastels on. So all I'm doing is dipping into the actual pan itself and then blending it on that white printer paper. Now that does a couple of things. Of course, it allows me to blend and mix the colors on it, because we can mix pans very similar in a way to paint, so we can add different colors to it to make something different, okay, or white to make it lighter and dark black to make it darker. It also helps me not to put too much PanPastel on the tool itself, okay. On the underlayer you don't want to be using lots and lots of pigment, because then it's just going to make it difficult to put the details on top with pencils. Now if you're wondering, what colors do you actually use? Do you need to go lighter than your reference photo or darker than your reference photo, vibrant, not as vibrant? I think of it like this. When I look at my reference photo, I think of it as a blurry reference photo. So you can actually do that in Photoshop or something, and blur your reference, or squint your eyes when you're looking at it. If you're using a tablet, go into the filter in there and blur it. And what you're really doing is taking away all those details that can be quite confusing at the start, and just thinking of the general shape, the general color, and the general tone, so those lights and darks. So when I want an area to be very, very white, like say that kind of blaze going up the forehead and on the muzzles, I don't want to go putting anything really dark under there. Okay, it doesn't need to be pure white at the beginning, but don't go too dark, because the underlayer color will always influence in some way, to some degree, the color that's going on top. So if you want something to be pure white, you need to get almost pure white at the underlayer. If I need the area to be brown, I want to go, with that general brown color. We can alter the colors going on top with pastels. We've got that benefit, but you don't want to go abusing that fact. Okay, so you need to be fairly accurate on your underlayer. Just go with what you're actually seeing. Okay, it's easier to actually darken something than to try and make it brighter and more vibrant. Now on the underlayer stage, do not expect it to look brilliant. This is just your basic map. Okay, everything will be refined on top of it, and as long as you haven't put too much pastel down, then you'll be able to put multiple layers. Now, a way to know if you're putting too much pastel down, for the underlayer, I still like to be able to pretty much see my pencil marks underneath. Okay, now test this out on some scrap pastel mat paper, little squares, and just see how much pastel you can put down before you lose your traced line. Now I hope this has helped. There's a full lesson of this and many more on my Patreon channel. Hope to see you there soon.